we've got wonderful, wonderful presenters tonight. So my name is Sarah Cooperman. I'm the CEO of SCW Fitness Education and the CEO of Water in Motion. And I struggled this evening to figure out, do I put in the SCW logo or do I be tacky and go with the Water in Motion? And if you know me, I'm going tacky and I'm going hard. So I have three of my favorite people on here. And unfortunately, Heather can't join us. She has pneumonia and she didn't get it in the pool. She got it on the airplane coming back from Florida Mania. Poor Melissa Lane always ends up getting sick, as she was sharing coming back. Melissa's amazing. Melissa has written so much nutrition education for us through her nutrition coaching, nutrition hormones, metabolism. She also has led her active aging certification, but I think it's been almost for the past 2 years you've been leading the Aqua certification, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And it's been fantastic because she wrote a terrific book for human kinetics and aquatic exercise. It's water. She also holds, obviously, you guys know, a master's degree in exercise science, a bachelor's degree in physical education, an associate's degree in medical technology. I think she's coming after my job, and frankly, she can probably have it. Okay, here we go. And now we've got Zori, our orange little comedian down there. Zori comes to us from Puerto Rico, and I'm going to say hello to my dear friend Lawrence Biscontini, who influenced Zori to work with us. I love Lawrence. I love Zori. Zori also is the choreographer of our Seat Beats program. She also is one of our master trainers for Water in Motion and has been featured in Water in Motion repeatedly. She's got an MBA. She's the founder of 25 Wellness. She's the creator of WEPA. I always pronounce it wrong. WEPA? WEPA. There she goes again. She's a holistic health coach. She's an international presenter. She's a mindful movement specialist. She's got over 24 years of experience. Although because she looks so young, it looks like only 4 years. She's a former AFA examiner for the Caribbean. She's designed fitness programs all over Puerto Rico. It's been at conventions, magazines, TV, radio, and everything. And you guys know my dear friend Ann Gilbert, who is absolutely amazing, choreographer for 4 years for Water in Motion, and now she's been the choreographer for our Seat program. Oh my gosh, the past five years, and she owns a very successful club, which she's going to share some secrets with you guys for that. She's got 50 trainers and instructors for adults age 48 to 78. She was the ACE and HFA Personal Trainer of the Year. She's a sought-after speaker. She leads our active aging certification. She does everything. Okay, so I'm just going to launch right in because I hate when we have too long introductions on stuff. First thing I'm going to ask you guys about, and I didn't even ask this in the warm-up, talk to me about trends in aquatics. What do you guys see as the greatest trends in aquatics? But for my folks at home, there's a chat box down at the bottom. There's a chat right at the bottom. You guys know where it is. It looks like a little bubble. You can just click on it, and what you can do is you can write us any questions, any suggestions, contribute. We want to hear from you. So if you would log in now, put your name and where you're from. Just type in your name and where you're from. We would love it if you would join us. Okay, so trends. Starting with you, Ms. Gilbert.
Oh, I would say I wrote a bunch of trends. Look how many there are. First of all, I feel you're an aquatics instructor, you're the most sought after ever. For someone like myself that has a club with a program, an increase in certification again. I see people really wanting to teach from the deck, to really know the exercise science behind it. They're embracing getting a certification again. I'm very, very excited about that. And it's increasing the credibility of the program within my club, which is driving people through the door. We know there's reasons why the water makes me feel so good, Zori, but I feel in the industry, people are more interested in increasing their standards through certification. Bravo.
Okay,
Okay.
so you see a lot of the trends are to get certified. Melissa, you were saying that you saw that the certifications were increasing and more people were coming.
More people are coming to the water series, but I think the biggest difference I've noticed in the past 2 years since I've been doing the Aqua Cert is we're seeing more land people transitioning to water instructors, where before it was just something where land instructors were like, I don't want to do that. They don't work hard. It's too hard on my feet. I can't use my creativity. And now I think the growth of water fitness in general and as instructors are getting stronger and stronger, people are saying, I can teach on the top of the phrase. I can put together a combination. I can jump in and out of the water. I can do theme classes. So I think we're seeing more and more people using it as a tool to increase their revenue, but also to make their bodies live a little bit longer in the fitness industry, because I am getting in the water more and more these days. I'm hopping in and out because my classes are so big, but I used to never get in the water. Now I'm teaching 11 aqua classes a week, and I'm in the
Wow.
water. Yeah. I'm in the water
Wow. 11?
11.
What?
Once the aquatic center got word that I had retired, they offered me 8 and I picked up 6. And so I'm getting in with my aqua people and I'm teaching them how to use tubing in the pool. And I'm getting in a lot more so that I can teach those classes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what now this is something I do is where I start on the deck so I make sure everybody can see me. I make sure to stay. Water and motion's my thing, so I make sure everybody can see the warm up. And if there's anything a little awkward or creative in in the workout, I'll scoot out of the pool for that, or I'll show it in my warm up. But I agree with you. I got to get in the pool, and I don't think that in water motion we encourage it. It's fine. I'd rather you stay on the deck so people can see you, but it's not as safe for us as instructors because I don't care what shoes you wear, you can slip and you're on a cement surface or worse, a tile surface, a surface, and you're gliding around and it's hot and it's humid and it ain't so pretty at my age standing on the deck in front of these people. So I want to get in. So Melissa, how do you handle that?
I do exactly what you said. There are sometimes my classes at the big box club have 60 people in them, so I have to stay on the deck the entire time. But when classes are more like 20, 30, I will get in and out with them a lot more often to protect my body.
Right, right. I think that's great. And what type of classes are you seeing growing at the different facilities you teach at in Georgia?
I'm going to be honest. You put a good instructor in front of them, whether it's an instructor who knows the science, creates a community, or kicks their butt, and it doesn't matter what you call it, they're going to come.
It's that instructor
The
enthusiasm
instructor.
and drama they bring.
Yeah.
Zori, are you seeing the same thing in Puerto Rico? And please share with us about the environment. You said there's not a lot of pools
Yes,
there.
yes. Mentioning my own perspective, one thing that really has shaped my approach is living and working here in the island, and we don't have access to pools as much as we want. So we've learned to think creatively, and many of our wellness experiences happen in the ocean at the beach, and the beach becomes our classroom, our movement space, and sometimes even our mindfulness studio. So that is a very interesting approach, and that experience has taught me that the aquatic wellness isn't defined by a facility. It's defined by the experience we create. And sometimes our greatest aquatic facility is the ocean itself. So I've been seeing a trend of more and more instructors getting attract to learning more about the water, what water can brings to the momentum of the experience, not only for a workout physically, but also as an emotional tool to connect with themselves, to use this Caribbean rhythm we have in the water, because the water itself has rhythm in the waves, in the sounds. So having this experience out of the pool, in the beach, adding this element of grounding, when you ground it, and an additional challenge because of the floor, we have sand. So it's an additional challenge of resistance and stability. So more and more instructors are coming to become educated, and people are attracted to the experience they're gonna feel at the beach. They know they will have a good body experience, but they know that they will have fun. They will have great connection with themselves and with other people.
And you're right. People want experiences. We've got a whole retreat campaign. Okay, like everybody wants to go on a retreat. So we're talking about our Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago conferences because they're pretty much, in the summer, feeling like they're getting away. People are enjoying that. So Zori, I love that idea, and I think all of us could do, like Anne, you're in Florida, you've got a great pool and a hot tub, which you call a spa. Okay, you've got a great pool
Therapy
at
pool.
your gym, but we can take them out. Just make sure with your waivers of liability that you include that. Okay, this is the lawyer in me
I
speaking.
usually include in the experience that we walk by the shore, maybe a
Uh-huh.
mile,
Uh-huh.
before getting actually into the water. So they start connecting with the environment and they start releasing the tensions, and then we go into the water. So it's like an holistic approach to the
Oh,
water
fantastic.
experience.
That's fantastic. Okay, just so you guys know, Dan, who's running the program, actually opened up the webinar chat for us. So you guys are more than welcome to dump your name in and tell us where you're from. We love to hear that. One of the things that I want to bring up, and Anne, I'm going to jump on you for this one.
Okay.
We know that every program, land, personal training, aqua, Pilates, reform, whatever program it is, it's instructor driven, which means if we can share ourselves confidently and share our personalities, use the music correctly, things like that, that's what makes a great instructor. So we work with choreographed programs. And why do we do that? Because it helps the instructor give them confidence. Give them, here's the music, here's some choreography, here's a way to connect with your clients. So you're not thinking, did I do the right side? Did I do the left side? If I use the transverse and frontal, and what planes of motion have I worked with? Is all of this safe? Do I have to go home and spend 3 hours creating a playlist? There's certain things that it helps with. What are you finding with your instructors? Because I know you've got a great crew of instructors. I've met several of them. And how are you cultivating them?
I am a believer in choreography for some programs, but I'm just as much a believer in timed intervals and recovery programs for people that had joint replacements or are aging athletes. So I think those unique programs are important. But you said the word, and that's confidence, whether it be the instructor or the newbie through the door. I'm a business owner, so I want people to continually come through the door. I mean, then I have to keep them. And exercise in the pool environment or the aquatic environment has decreased their barriers to exercise. If I said, what are you fearful of? What's keeping you? And I've told that story about the people staying in the parking lot for 3 weeks, coming every day after work for 3 weeks and never walking in the door because of the fear of seeing themselves, fear of not understanding the movement. So that's when the great professional comes into being. But there's so much fear about starting an exercise program, and specifically if they've been hurt or if they have joint replacement or if they're declining in what they feel is their normal aging process. But all of those things are reasons that they don't want to start an exercise program. And the number one, when I ask them, is it's going to hurt. It's going to make me sore. I don't want to not be able to sit on the stool the next day. And all of those things are diminished in the aquatic environment. So I think that's something that should be used for your marketing and your retention tools. The barriers to start a program are diminished if I can get that person in the pool. It doesn't have anything to do with the color of their hair or the age. It's the barrier to work out. Melissa said it when we were practicing or going through our program tonight. The fear of seeing themselves in the mirror is diminished because we're underwater, right? Going the wrong way doesn't mean anything if the teacher is a professional. But just being part of the community comes later. But the fear of starting an exercise program is diminished in the pool.
Is diminished. And you know what's interesting is, okay, for you instructors out there, if you want to grow your programs, you're new to a club, or let's say you're starting a new time for the classes or whatever. This is what I did. I was teaching at Evanston Athletic Club, and we had just started doing aquatics. And I told them, we need to do an aqua class. We have this great pool, but we're not using it. And they're like, what is water exercise? I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, right? It's the biggest thing after COVID. But in going there, which was so fascinating, is I went to the sales team. And I brought them all muffins. And by bringing them the muffins, I said, I'm doing this aqua class. Here's a little flyer on it. And I typed it up myself. Here's a little flyer on it. And if you get new people in here, it's a much safer environment. It's got I'm going to have Melissa explain this a little more thoroughly. Hydrostatic pressure, the way we can work with dementia individuals that are frustrated with dementia. So it's a wonderful, safe, comfortable environment that's a great beginning opportunity. And those salespeople just fed me. I fed them with the blueberry muffins. They fed me, the students. And I loved it. And they were happy because they signed more memberships that way. And Melissa, talk to me about when you were all the science behind water exercise. I mean, we know it helps us to float. We know it's low impact. Tell me more.
So the reason Anne said that they will not hurt the next day is because there are very few eccentric contractions that occur in the pool. And we know that eccentric contractions are what cause the majority of our delayed onset muscle soreness. And an eccentric contraction occurs when a muscle is lengthening against a resistance that is normally gravity. So in the pool, we don't have gravity. So every 99% of the contractions are concentric, and you don't get what is called muscle streaming from concentric contractions. So they're not going to wake up the next morning and go, oh my gosh, I can't sit on the toilet. Then we know that hydrostatic pressure makes your heart a more efficient organ, and it creates a pump that is stronger or tighter. So if you think about two faucet setups, and you have one water faucet that is attached to a really thick hose, and you have one that is attached to a really small hose, you turn them both on the same amount of pressure, you're going to get a more efficient flow through the small hose because the pressure creates a bigger push. That's what hydrostatic pressure does to your heart while you're in the pool, especially if your heart is submerged. So you want to make sure their heart is submerged. So that keeps their heart rate lower, which means they can work harder. And therefore, when they get out, they feel like they've had a workout, but they weren't killing themselves in the pool. Because half the time when, everybody's wearing a device, when they look at their heart rate and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm at 176 beats per minute. It is now mental of look how hard I'm working. But in the pool, maybe it's 145 from the hydrostatic pressure. So mentally, they're like, I can go more. And then, like we talked about, it's also a great place to introduce some dementia training so that we can now play a bigger role, like Zori said, in holistic training as we get older. And I tell my classes this all the time. What good is your body if your brain doesn't know who's living in it? And that makes them want to play all the bilateral coordination games with me. And I say, you know what? Dementia isn't that bad for the person who has it because they don't know. But for the family of the person who has it, it's tragic. And I ask my class, do you really want to be that selfish to your family? So they will play the bilateral coordination games.
Oh, you've got to share that.
Okay, everybody
share.
has to do this, right?
Yes,
Everybody has to do
we
it.
all will do it.
We're going to do an easy one. Pinch, Sarah, pinch, touch, pinch, touch, pinch, touch, pinch. Easy peasy. Okay. 2, 1. 2, 1. 2, 1. You ready? Let's get harder. 2, 1. Do this. 2, 1. 2, 1. Boom, boom. And then when you add music, it adds another layer. Give me a bunny. Give me a gun. Your gun has to have a trigger. Your bunny does not have a thumb. Shoot the bunny.
Okay, what is this? This is a squirt gun.
Squirt gun.
I messed up.
Okay, I'm going to share this with you. So I went to the Mayo Clinic, and I always do this executive checkup thing. So I go to the Mayo Clinic, and I've been getting nervous about my memory because I'm 67 years old, and I think, oh, I forgot something upstairs, and I run upstairs, and I'm like, why the heck am I here? What the, So I come downstairs, I start doing emails again, and boom, I remember again. I run upstairs. I get upstairs. I'm like, what did I go up for? Come down, third time's the charm. I always figure it out. I can do it. So I go to see my doctor at the Mayo, and I said, I need to get neurologically tested. I need to get tested because I'm losing my memory and there's something wrong. And I think I have early onset Alzheimer's. And he looks at me, he says, Sarah, this was when I was 65. He looks at me, he goes, Sarah, you're 65. It's not early onset. And then he starts laughing. I'm like, this is not funny. This is my life. This is not funny. But he made me smile. And he said, the reality is, like you shared, Melissa, the person wouldn't realize it. It's the family that brings them in. So anything we can do as instructors to help with these memory. Now I know, and you do recall in the pool because it's hard for us to do manual dexterity stuff in the pool because they start standing in the pool and they begin freezing. But how do we do you do some recall verbal stuff, right?
Right, neuroplasticity drills and skills. But we have a program called Water Walking, which Melissa's awesome. I want you to try it in your 60 people class. But it's a shallow based program and it's grounded and it's been very, very popular. One, it's not intimidating, so people feel very comfortable, but it's repetitive movement on the different planes, sagittal, and then the frontal plane, and then the transverse plane. But it gives us opportunity to sing, to recite, to recall for almost a full hour. And this is the first time we've really seen, and I know you agree, that we're working on brain as a muscle also. In programs, and the water's a great environment for it. But the water walking class has taken off, and we are adding more in July. We're also putting a class together that we can advertise out in the community, because you know me, I've got to market my business all the time, whether it be on TV or with the physical therapists or orthopedic surgeons, on the fact that we have excellent place for recovery after joint replacement. And that's maybe because of my personal joint replacement or all of ours, but we're seeing more of it, and people are being invited into the environment, invited and coached into the environment, not only for the brain power of the water walking class, but also for the recovery of a specificity like a joint replacement. It's kind of exciting.
And Zori, are you seeing the same thing happening?
Yes, I'm seeing that. And the magic thing that I think that water has is that it's so versatile. Is a resistant tool that has magic on it. So I encourage the instructor to think beyond the equipment in water, because dumbbells and gloves are great tools, but the water itself is already providing the resistance in every direction we have. So that allows us to develop strength and reduce the stress on the joints, but also challenge the body without pushing it. So probably I will have in the same session people that are recovering and runners that want an additional challenge as part of their training. And the water is supporting the recovery. It's also supporting this challenge, but also is supporting confidence, because it's so inclusive. And they will reveal their own confidence, and they are not just only recovering physically or having milestones to achieve physically, but they are also recovering emotionally, as Melissa said before, from pain, from injury, and from fear of movement. We have here in the island, I've developed this Aqua Zen program. And Aqua Zen is including inspiration of Pilates, yoga, and Tai Chi into the water. So we're supporting mobility, mindfulness, breath awareness, stress reduction, rhythm flow in the water. So water is not only providing the resistance of a great workout, it is already a great workout, but it provides also perspective of the experience they are having. So in today's world, I think that people are in more need of more opportunities to move with intention, not just intensity. So I encourage instructors to open the box in their minds and to think beyond the equipment. They have what they need, their bodies and the water.
Yeah. I love that. I think, and I really enjoyed that you brought up, I mean, the word community. If I hear the word community or authentic one more time, I'm just going to stab someone. Okay. I'm over it. But water exercise really does build a community. And I have this theory. This is a little odd, but whenever you get naked with people, you get a little, you bond a bit, okay? And I'm sorry, Ann. I know. My job is always to slightly offend Ann Gilbert, and if I've done it, I'm doing my job. So, but seriously, they get in the water. They have to get out in Chicago, especially, or and I'm in Colorado. I'm in the coldest area. We have to change. We can come in our bathing suits, but we can't wear our bathing suits home. So it's the time in the locker room. That extra time really does help build community, and sometimes sharing soap or a towel doesn't hurt either, I don't think. And Melissa, I wanted you to talk just a little bit more about the concentric and the eccentric and how we can do more strength training in the water. I know when I'm on land, if I'm on land, this is a bicep curl, this is concentric, and if I straighten it down, it's eccentric on land. I don't know if you can see eccentric on land because I'm straightening it. In the pool, if I do that, it's concentric. It's concentric on the bicep, it's concentric on the tricep. Whereas on land, it's concentric on the bicep, it's eccentric on the bicep. All right, so I get this. We're doing, and you and I have talked about this like on multiple occasions on panels at Manias, but that are we working to failure? Are we working to fatigue? What equipment we should work out within the pool? Duration to get that strength training. Can you share with us some of your insights?
Okay, I want to go back when you said shooting the bunny has to be standing still. My people can put their feet in jumping jacks to the beat and shoot the bunny. So
I
it
love
comes
that.
to time.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the problem so everything Sarah said about eccentric contraction, concentric, there's not a ton of well-controlled studies about improving strength in the pool. Now there is muscle endurance. We know muscle endurance improves in the pool, but strength is so hard to measure because we're not doing anything that is one repetition max in the pool. However, if you have someone that is extremely frail, they can improve their strength simply from concentric contractions. But when it comes to how many or reps or things like that, here's where you use Zori's main example. The water will give back to you what you really give to it. So the stronger they push, let's say you put them into a transverse plane, just pushing the water. You have them do one phrase of music this way, one phrase this way, then 16, 16, 8, 8, 4, 2, 2. By the time you get to singles, they're not pushing as hard. If they're not pushing as hard, they're not recruiting as many muscle fibers. If I have someone who's strong, they will continue to push hard. They'll recruit more muscle fibers. So it all is what the person gives to the push.
Effort. Mm-hmm.
Definitely effort. And what do you do to help motivate your clients to keep coming, to retain them, to help them see results? What are some of the little tricks of the trade that you use?
I'm going to say I'm the queen of old school themed classes. I love them. I love video. They love to see themselves on video. So this summer, we're going to be having a whole series of classes right around the 4th of July for the big celebration. Contest in the summer. So we're going back to the old-fashioned passport. You buy them on Amazon. They're like $5 for a big packet. They get a stamp when they come in. And they're so involved in filling up that passport. I know it's old school, but guess what? It works. And they're coming back for more. And there's got to be a little prize if they fill up that passport. We're actually doing a destination challenge this year where the instructors are taking someone to some place, their class to some place. My class next Sunday is going to Nashville, so it's going to be country music. And then in August, we're going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we're going to have beer and we're going to have cheese curds. So people know about those. I know it's old school, but it works. And that's what creates that thing. One of the things I wanted to tell you about is we love team teaching at our club. And Melissa, I don't know if you do that at your big box, but we love team teaching. If we have enough people on deck, there's a different energy that people bring when they alternate. It's kind of like having a backup at Mania behind you. But team teaching has been very successful. And people say, I want to bring a guest. When are you having your next team taught class? I know those are things that you probably not have thought about. And then when my pool is closed, it's open. I want you to understand that. When my pool is closed and there's no class scheduled, I'm losing money as a business owner. So when my class is closed, my pool is open. So we have volleyball Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and now Tuesday and Thursday also. And it's packed to the hilt. We have the Sharks on one side, the Dolphins on the other. They have their own Facebook page. I don't pay anyone to teach the class, talking from the business owner side, but the club is full. And then there's no swim lessons, then there are swim lessons in the afternoon. But when the class is over, the pool is still open. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what are we seeing? I know this was not one of our questions, and I'll be honest with you, I'm seeing a ton of chats. We've got people from Michigan, Wisconsin, California, Florida, New York, oh my gosh, Virginia, Philadelphia, Texas, Georgia, oh my gosh, you name it. They're from all over, and that's pretty exciting. But when that pool is kind of empty, are any of you guys have any success with personal training in the pool? Ann?
We have one program called Surf and Turf. It's been around for a long time, and it's set up in stations. And that personal trainer, who, like Melissa suggested, did make the big switch from land to water. And now she's charging more for aquatic personal training than she does for land personal training, by the way. And she brings the toys in and sets them up, and she does different types of formatting. But it is growing. But the big thing that made it grow was that we talk about it and we invite. and we give them a personal ticket to take a trial at integration. And that's where I think we probably failed, or I failed in the past, was not putting the aquatic focus in the integration. We gave them the group fitness schedule. We know it's the thing that's the most, right, off of the website and carried out of the club the most. And now we're exaggerating the schedule for aquatics. And we're using those try me sessions for personal training and group as much in water as we are on land. So if you're not putting it into the integration process for your location or your
So
facility,
like in the membership, the
membership
yeah,
integration. Mhm.
right. Okay, awesome.
Sarah,
And go ahead.
we actually have not at the big box, but at the Aquatic Center, we have, of course, a lap pool, which is packed to the gills during the summer with the high school kids. But then we have our therapy pool, and it's kind of split in half. And while I'm teaching my class, there's also some older kids doing swim lessons. But on the other half of the pool, they have rented out the pool to a physical therapist. She doesn't belong to a clinic because I don't know whether you know this, but now physical therapists are all starting their own business, and it's now not through insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's amazing because they're seeing 3 and 4 clients at a time. The PTA will have 3 people. Then there's 2 therapists in the pool, and they'll each have 2 people. So there's 6 people over there. When they have been cleared from physical therapy, they are now joining our class. So it's a win-win for everyone. It's more money in the pool. It's my class getting bigger, which of course gives me more money from, the club, but it's a great win-win for everybody. And they continue with their recovery, their rehab.
Oh, that is great. And we've seen that at the clubs that I work at, is that people only get physical therapy for like those 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's over, and then they're dumped on us. And to be honest with you, a lot of us as instructors, we have far more knowledge about really how to use the pool. I was very impressed with the AEA, with the Aquatic Exercise Association. They do a conference. It used to be IAFC. Now it's IAFTC. So they brought aqua therapists in and integrated it with the Aquatic Exercise Association. And I thought it was fantastic because I actually took a couple aqua physical therapy sessions. I learned a lot. So kudos to AEA. And I just got a message in the chat. This woman said, I do personal training in the water, and she began it. And then now what she does is she goes into people's homes. Now, again, we're talking Puerto Rico, we're talking Georgia, we're talking Florida. I'm not stepping into, when's that going to happen? In October, I'll freeze. Actually, maybe that's the reason my kids took up hockey. But, you and Zori, are you doing some of the personal training?
Yes, I want to share something very, I think it's very good for me because, as I mentioned, I don't have pools here to teach with as accessible. But one of the things I did is I made alliances with therapists, chiropractors, doctors. And for example, one of my chiropractors, he put like a small pool. It's like a tub in the office. I don't know how to say that in English actually, but it's a small pool in the office. It's like 5x5, and it's like 4 or 5 feet tall. And one person can get in that small tub or mini pool, and that person can receive personal training or personal aquatic therapy in the chiropractor's office in a special area designed for that. So that's a great strategy to start making alliances with some of these doctors and therapists, and you may start bringing your services to their offices. And it's a very integrative approach. Another thing that helps me a lot is to change the story I tell about the program. Actually, it's I can talk about recovery, I can talk about performance, I can talk about stress management, I can talk about mobility, longevity, overall wellness. As a runner, as an athlete, I can talk about the benefits of a recovering truly water. I can talk about, as a wellness professional, I can talk about the stress management tool for the corporate people that is actually my biggest clientele. As an active aging specialist, I can talk this about this as a longevity tool. So it will depend on what approach and the story you tell that you can reach a wider demographic. And it would not only depends on the facility, the pool, the beach, the office of the chiropractor, of the therapist. It will depend on the story that you tell, on how wide it's the possibilities of the water environment. Not only thinking about lowering expectations to be inclusive to a wider demographic, but it's about expanding the possibilities to reach a wider and different type of people.
And Melissa, why do you think that certifications are continuing to grow? Like, I'm shocked at we just did Florida Mania, what, a couple weeks ago, and we had twice as many certifications in Florida Mania this year than we had last year. Twice as many. And it's exploding. And I'm really happy about it, but I'm like, okay, why couldn't I do this last year? Like, what is the momentum? What do you think is going on?
Do you really want my take on this?
Oh yeah, yeah. Hit
This
me.
is just my take. Fitness instructors are aging themselves out. We are getting older, but we are staying in the business. I bet if you ask Anne, when was the last time she had a 21, 22, 23-year-old walk into her club and say, I want to work for you in any capacity? It's probably been a while. I think to make us stay in the business longer and be successful, we have to learn how to be a good stretching coach. We need to take Gail Bannister's flexibility workshop. We need to keep in mind that we are living longer. So we need to take Anne's active aging certification. These are things that make us more valuable to our clients and let us stay in, because if you take everybody at my big box club who's 40 plus in the group fitness arena and you take us out, you may have 2 instructors left in my big box club.
Wow.
Everybody is, I'd say, at least 45 plus at the big box club.
Wow, interesting, interesting. And I just got a few messages from people. Debbie from the Twin Cities metro area in Minnesota. By the way, Debbie, I went to McAllister College, St. Paul, Minnesota. Anyway, she also does work with physical therapists and occupational therapists. But I got a very smart person who also said we need to, as group fitness instructors and personal trainers in the pool, stay within the scope of our jobs. So people need to know we're not licensed physical therapists. But the other beauty of water exercise, and we are getting kind of to time. I could have talked to you guys for another hour, but it's just how many people get injured in aquatic exercise. The worst thing that can happen is, like, I color my hair and it begins to look green a little bit. That's my contraindication. I don't want to get my hair wet. I look at the injuries, or I should say the lack of injuries in the pool, and this is one of the best retention strategies we could have. That you just feel like a kind of a dead piece of salami a half an hour after getting out of the pool. But while you're in the pool, you feel marvelous. The next day, you might be a little bit more tired, but the only time you really feel that exhaustion is a half an hour after the workout. So it works for so many people. So I'm going to let you guys, each of you, please do a little closing of what your sense is, why you think water exercise is so important. Anne?
Oh, thank you for letting me go. I think people are coming through my doors for physique enhancement that much anymore. The majority are not. They're coming through the doors with a need, a pain point. They're coming for you to give them or us to give them a solution to that pain point. And I think that's what aquatics does, is gives them a solution and a start. So bravo to all of you that are aquatics instructors. And like Melissa said, expand on more than just a cross-country ski, please, and dive into some of these things that we've been talking about. People are no longer looking for what we look like, but how it transfers to activities of daily life.
And Zori?
I may say that aquatic fitness, as I'm seeing, is evolving into aquatic wellness. And people is no longer looking only for workouts, they're looking for experiences that help them move better, to feel better, to recover better, etc., etc. So please make sure you are creating this environment, this space for people to move better, to move, to restore, and once again, to connect with themselves and with the world.
And connect with your clothes on, okay? That's a takeaway for me. Melissa?
I'm going to use the same closing that I did with you in Florida. The way you do anything in the pool is the way you do everything out of the pool. Train to transfer. Have a purpose for what you do in the pool so that when they get out, they're not pushing their grocery cart like this. They're pushing their grocery cart like this. So train to transfer.
Train to transfer. All right, I'm going to take this green really quickly, show you guys what's coming up this weekend. We have a wonderful conference. And what's so nice about this, our Aqua Exercise Summit is for everybody. If you're in California, Minnesota, Philadelphia, if you're coming to us from Texas, if you're coming to us from Puerto Rico, or Japan. This is great. We still have our 50% off sale, which is kind of cool. We've got a tidal wave of aqua education coming, and Zori's going to be there, Melissa's going to be there, Ann is going to be there. They're all presenting for us. A flood of new ideas, amazing presenters, and of course, you get your continuing education credits. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Dan, you rock. You figured out the chat box. I love it. So thank you guys, and have a wonderful weekend, and I hope I see you at the Aqua X Summit.
Thanks, everybody.
Wait.